Good Sunday evening. We are learning, so bear with us as we move through this learning, a learning curve. We did want to begin and share from our heart to your heart. Just a true fact, and that's why we like sharing so many songs, because sometimes they drop us down into that place where we could be talking and saying a lot of things, but it's just easier to sing it out to you. Forget your perfect offering, just ring the bells that you can ring. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. We love that. We love that. It's been a minute, all that traveling and moving about, and finally, we've answered the urging of our spirit guides and ancestors and angels to begin live and share the Truthtellers Oracle, and eventually we hope to get enough of a mastery here that you can pop in with questions and we can pull a truth teller or take a deep dive on things that are really bothering us. I'm singing in the background, and I do love that 555-444-333-222-111 launch. Is such a amazing thing. I don't know how many of you are experiencing that you can just pick up your phone and triple numbers are sitting right there, and say it's a little angel blessing, just telling you and sinking into that alignment, that divine place where you are. So that's what we know, is that sometimes, not sometimes, more than often, our perfect world has cracks. And we recognize that that's how the light gets in, period. Period, end of story, as Susan Lynn says. We are so blessed to be in the approach of our 9th season of the Raven. And Raven brings us into ceremonial magic. And I like to think that it evolves and stirs the cauldron of everything that has gone on in now the 11 months of 2024. And so we come to usually the last 5 or 6 weeks of the year, and then one in the new year, to see how we landed. That tells us the assessment, gives us a review, a reflection, and we can kind of center where we are, kind of where our community and our beloved Kindred is. So that's open now. Registration is open. We just got through posting in the Mystic School of Alchemy Facebook group. If you haven't joined there, you should. This is our mystery school that's been ongoing and does have other quarters. We finished up our fall quarter not too long ago, but Season of the Raven is our longest running quarter, and we have enjoyed coming together with many beloveds in all parts of the country. And of course, in this pivotal time, absolutely pivotal intersection of deciding what we think, what is our truth, what do we know, what are the tools we've been studying, and all the events and workshops and so forth that we've been going to that has prepared us for this time. So the theme of this particular journey for Season of the Raven is Courage Under Fire. And again, we say, go check out Mystic School of Alchemy Facebook group, and you will see there all the descriptions of those offerings. We usually are on a Tuesday night, and then we run into stuff with Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve. So we decided to move it to Monday nights, and registration is open. And we're telling you that as we get all of the adjustments made in our website, in the shop. And that will be coming, sometime during this week. We've got so many things going on. We are also, as of the 11/11 portal, now in our annual Kindred of Sangoma membership drive. And that might be under the rug for some of you. Yes, it's a group, a movement, an energy, a force that moves all about. We could say our latest adventure was just taking quilts up to those who are displaced and no longer have a home or a bed. They are now in their trucks or in their tents on the side of mountains that have just disintegrated behind Helene and Milton. And so the Kindred of Sangoma, you can look, of course, and see on the website various missions that the ancestors support us in continually, month after month. We are going to be slowing down a bit in 2025, or maybe like Changing Woman, rearranging, just not packing and unpacking the car so often, but shifting more to mentorships and apprenticeships, a little bit of leadership training. This is what we find, that as we all really move into the concept that the time of the lone wolf is over, as the Hopi prophecy told us. And this drop, in case you're not up on the astrology, we do try to post them, or what that all means or how to relate it. Simply Pluto. The planet Pluto is known in the Yoruba culture, and maybe to many others, as an energy of transformation. And so we align it with the goddess Oya. And that's moving from Capricorn, the sign of Capricorn, very practical, mountain goat, how you do it, does the math add up, that kind of thing, into uh, Aquarius, where we have, you could go back to the fifth dimension, the age of Aquarius. We are here. The dress rehearsal is over. And this is exactly the element and the climate that we're in right now. How do we move forward in some type of unity in the community, in groups? And we saw this earlier in the year in the Itahavoya. They said, maybe not so much by yourself in the solitude. Maybe take a buddy, maybe groups of three, maybe larger groups. So groups, hopefully, will come together. Well, they absolutely will. Not maybe, they will. And we would love to see a shift in how we approach these parts. It's certainly not as simple as a protest, maybe turn riot in the street, about freedoms that we feel are eluding us, or again, others may be shifting us back to a time of a deeper oppression or control over. All those things are going out. Those are in the old paradigm. And so how we move forward, I don't think, as the just previous election showed many of us, is not really a win or lose situation. It may look like that from the outside, but the lighthouses, those of us that know, change your mind, change your world. There is an option here for win-win, and we want that option, win-win. So that kind of brings us to the nature of this. Is the ancestors and guides asked us to begin with divination and those kinds of gifts that we do teach in the mystery school, we do share, to say, no, there's wonderful readers and channels and psychics and mediums and diviners. Oh, I listen to many of them, and they are all rolling and trying to figure out what just happened, what really happened. And there are so many questions, but we're not going to dabble in there, because YouTube has a way and algorithms have a way. And beside that, we believe that the Truthtellers, in case we haven't shown you our Oracle deck, very different, built on a medicine wheel and encompassing a playing deck of cards, the suits of hearts and spades and diamonds and clubs, and also some very amazing archetypes. and where they are so that we can see where are you in the process. And I think, in fact, as we come down to the questions that we outlined to take a look at this evening, just as a sample to introduce you to the oracle and also to give you an idea of what it is that we'd like to dive deeper into, take a look at together around the full moon and the new moon of each month. You know that schedules and things bounce around, particularly in the holiday season. So we do want to come a little more often. We're going to say it that way. We're not sure whether it'll be weekly or bi-monthly or what it will be. But when we do come, we're interested in the harder questions. And I think, this Truth Tellers Oracle was born in South Africa last year, but I do think that the power of the transmissions that came through with each of these truth tellers is built like that, is built in this place and this time where we seem to have a little difficulty in telling the absolute truth to ourselves or to others, or looking at the truth, even when we can't speak it out. And so, as we go through and you become more familiar with those, we have truth tellers in each of the gates, the East Gate, South Gate, West Gate, North Gate. You'll learn more about the directional characteristics. Of course, the sun rises in the east, sets in the west, fire in the south, in the north, this period right here, the wintertime, to going within and reflecting, searching, realigning with the North Star and where it's leading us into the next cycle. So many parts, so many parts. Finishing up the 8 year of 2024, going into the 9 year of 2025 completion, making way and tying up loose ends in our lives and relationships and business agreements, covenants, ancestral agreements, and so on and so on. And why is that important? Well, because some of us would like to look forward to the new beginnings in 2026 without dragging the unnecessary old baggage. And many of us have a lot of baggage. My hand's waving. A lot of baggage, deaths, loss of loved ones, shifts, changes. Shango's been big up there, Uranus, with sudden eruptive energies, such as where we are now, and what our behavior and the codes of conduct will be for other people moving forward is the chaos erupts from different areas. And, we have to find our center. We have to find our way through sacred activism and sacred navigation to how we keep it moving. And I think this came up, I know it did, in the season of the Raven, one of those sessions to say, the old people will tell you, if you don't stand for something, you might fall for anything. And so, how do we get to that place of absolute certainty about what we value, that place where our tree, like a river, our roots go down deep and we shall not be moved? There are things that we know as an elder or a baby elder that we have to stand for it because there were ancestors that stood for it for us. And so now, as the baton comes into our hands, well, what will we do for our children's children's children? You know, and most days when we look out here, it's nothing short of the Hunger Games. Children are being sacrificed and lied to at every level, just at every level. It really is. I think about the 1,000 children. We have so many stories up there in North Carolina. Boy, what you can really see and hear with your, own presence that you're not going to get on the news, okay? 1,000 children. I think it's about just a little bit over under 1,500 children that were displaced by those hurricanes that now, whether they're in tents or at a relative's house, they're just going back to school, trying to figure out the stability of homework and some continuity. It wasn't enough that you had drills for, mass shootings in schools. Now we have this. So it's a lot on our children, and I think that this should motivate us to build better. And this big beaver full moon in Taurus that just went by, the obvious. Beavers are builders. Taurus is the bull, and bulls can be very lazy in the grass, or you can put up a red flag and see what happens. See what I'm saying? So you have that, you have a lot of little swing in the pendulum, as they say, and that is a good part. That's a really good way to look at our energies, our fire. Our fires in the south can be a candle, a simple blessing and a prayer, or it can burn a little bit deeper for a little bit longer, and it's becoming maybe creativity or maybe unreleased anger. And so all of these things that we have to look at. We'll take a moment also to say that up and coming are some promotional ads that you will see, and things bringing the announcement of the launch of the African Indigenous Arch Ministry. For 5 decades plus, we have been a member of the African Theological Arch Ministry. In fact, that is the arch ministry through which our priesthood, Tuabatala, was born. And now this one has to look in the aftermath of recent events. We find that we must address the lack of support and help in the communities of color, in particular for the level of mental illness, the level of emotional and mental instability that often turns into a violent or a tragic outcome. So that's coming up. Be looking for it. We're excited about it. All right, let's see what we put here. We asking the Truthtellers, which I've been shuffling all along, to share wisdom for how to mend our hearts right here, right now, in those choices for those who really can't or don't choose to return to their family tables of Thanksgiving, that are having difficulty with those that are peeling back the illusions of political drama, not my circus, not my monkeys, so forth and so on. But it can cause some serious rifts at the Thanksgiving table. So we're asking a truth teller, what truth do you bring us in the way that we, the old people would say, oh, just turn the other cheek, be the bigger person. And I think the way in which we have denied certain emotions, suddenly the lies outside of us become the lies we are telling ourselves. So I don't think I'm supporting squashing and burying within, or fake, or however that goes, for not expressing your truth or your feelings. you know. I don't think that's the way out. I think that's why we call it on truth telling, because I think that we have to, and that's the first session of Season of the Raven is, choosing our anchors, choosing our battles, and choosing our finest words. Yeah, that, I can tell you, and we haven't even pulled the card out yet, but here's one. Let's see who it is. Ooh, we like it. We like it. Yeah, matriarchal to the bone. She is a major arcana, and you see, as we are now waning, the moon phases are on the bottom, waning now to a new moon, November 30th, beginning December, depends on where you are on the planet. Matriarchal to the bone, she lives in that place, waving my hand, where your birth mother is now an ancestor, where once you were the daughter who looked up at the grand aunties and other women who had juggled their children in their house, and husbands and relationships and money and holidays and birthdays. Boy, women, mothers, grandmothers. But the matriarch of a family is like that, to the bone. To the bone, she's going to tell you the truth. She might have to sit and pray on it a little bit, get in her quiet secret place and hear what she needs to hear about what's the reasonable thing to do here. What's the wisdom? Yeah, that might put the band-aid on it, but in the long run, like how long is that gonna carry you? Is it sustainable? So I think that's a powerful card to take, and I take it to myself because I know how I can walk in as one of the matriarchs, the older mothers. When you go beyond mother, grandmother, and you are landed on great grandmother, yes, you walk in a way where you are available, you're receptive, you're open, you're welcoming to, but you quickly let whatever inquiries come your way know that, all silliness aside. And if a person is putting a question or asking for your wisdom or your advice in something they have to decide about, immediately the matriarch is going to say, well, how much truth are you dealing with? Okay, I know you think you believe that, but how you really know? How you really know that you know what you know? So there's that matriarch to the bone. We had another one here. Where do we rebuild trust in ourselves? This is a good one. Where do we rebuild trust in ourselves, in our relatives, and in the process? And we might save a third truth teller for like how to master respecting the mystery, because people have a hard time with the mystery. Goodness gracious, I've been on the phone with people in the last couple of days, and I said to my kids when Burger King first opened up, you can't always have it your way. You have to be flexible like the willow. You have to learn how to flow. You have to learn how to stoop to conquer. You have to learn the energy and the pacing and the approach of a certain thing. It's the way in which we conduct ourselves. But again, the question is how, where do we rebuild the trust in ourselves, our relatives, and the process? All right, then. Let's see. Ooh, crown of wings. And that image is my firstborn daughter. We just love it. She is from the East Gate. Good question. Says, okay, well, we might have to start again. That's the first thing we know. See how the medicine wheel plays in that? We got an answer to that question about rebuilding trust and ourselves and others and in the process. And they told you already, well, this is a new beginning. A lot of us are having to throw out, let the spilled milk dry up under the bridge, throw all that back there out and start over, begin again, take baby steps. Don't throw your whole heart investment into trusting those that have deceived you, fallen short maybe of an expectation. I'm looking for a very gracious way to give you that information, but that's the fact of it, and I believe this might be between fear and falling. That's why I'm going to check the transmission from this particular truth teller, because crown of wings, there's another one and flight that tells you not more or less like, save your battle for another day. All right, so let's see, Eastgate and live to flight. That's the one I was thinking of that speaks to that. But this is the crown of wings. And we do have crowns of Isis, rites and passages so that we don't, like this is a crown. So we don't all get confused about the tiaras and, Queen of England and all that kind of stuff related to crowns, because crowns means different things for different sovereignties. That's what to keep in mind. So let's see, crown of wings. Here we are, the 13th one. There are 13 cards in each gate. So in the Eastgate, she is the 13th truth teller. Not till you have truly reached or stepped beyond any ledge do you know better how to navigate between falling and flying. This is who I heard right in there as I saw the car. I said, I think this is the truth teller that talks about how we determine whether we're going to take a fall or we're ready to fly. Wings are dry, we're ready to go. We know we're ready to soar above things. Take the eagle view where you can see things real low and hidden. So, to rest in or under divinity's crown is to soar with the eagle, seeing high but looking low. Did I just say that? Poised in the night visions of night owls, this truth teller is orbiting your reality to bring comfort to your stance in midair. This is the sacred place between your thoughts, wishes, hopes, and dreams. She makes sacred your flight. And so how does that work when we ask a question like that? Where do we rebuild our trust in ourselves? And we could just stop right there and say, trust in yourself. I spoke with a young lady today that feels her leadership and her message and the power of where her destiny is taking her, like really urging her. And she's afraid. She wasn't afraid to say she was afraid. Fear of falling, not enough confidence in flying. And so the final message from Crown of Wings is like, this must be where you learn to balance all things from mid-air. And so you navigate, if you are trying to move into an area where there's been distrust or no trust, then you say, I can see the high of that. I can see the low of that. I think I'm going to go right here in the middle section, see if I can find some commonality. There you have it. All right, one more, and then we will jump out and say that we did it for the first time, and we'll do it better next time. But what would be a really, really good question to close on? And I'm really looking into the communities. I think that conversation earlier with the young lady who is experiencing disruptive sleep and just that frustration with like, when am I really going to get to the best part of my life? When am I going to wake up and find myself living my best life? I'm still just out here waiting tables and trying to put a little coin together so that I can really make this plan work. And, back when we were much younger, and the song that comes to mind is, I think it's Funkadelic or Parliament, is standing on the verge of getting it on, really getting it on. And so I think I'd like to ask a truth teller to step forward and give us our motivation, inspiration, and security blanket for standing on the verge of getting it on, really getting it on. Because if you're not, then something is fixing to run over you if you live in here in America. Let me be very clear that if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. All right, who is it? Absolutely. Listening woman. And she is also a club. New beginnings. The beginning of listening a little deeper, the act of or art of exquisite listening. If you've noticed, my daily anthem now is Appalachia Rising, Resilience. Say it. Close and listen and listen. Letty. That's powerful. I'm so thankful to have shared this with you. A new next order has happened, and we expect the arrival of Less than 50 decks, really. Just a little bit under because we had some decks already promised out that are coming in for the holidays. So if this attracts you and this style of oracle attracts you, the ways in which you can be answered, because there are people that live and move by the King of Cups or Swords, or and because we're used to it, it's been out here for a while. But this one is just the facts, ma'am. This one is, don't be afraid to look at the truth. And so many people have been swimming in deception and Kool-Aid now. They might not even recognize the truth if it was right in front of them. So, Truthtellers deck, Kindred of Sangoma.org. You can go to the shop or to the Truthtellers page, which is wonderful. Several of our crowns of Isis have shared with us their reflections on interacting with this particular oracle. There are 4 different choices to choose from. And yeah, that's what I want to say mainly. That the Kindred membership is open, and your memberships support us in so many different ways, as we have tried to share the light from our lighthouse with others whose lights are a little dimmer in other communities facing other challenges. And that's a big part of the work of the Kindred of Sangoma. So we're always blessed when people come in, whether it's sweat equity, because sometimes money isn't always what's available, but people have talent and skills and time and support in so many ways. So till next time, power to the peaceful.